Oh, child, a lot going on in the world today. What up, though? How y'all faring? Everybody good? Your man, your friend, and family member, Braylon in the building. Good to see all of you. Everything on my channel is, in my opinion, is for entertainment purposes only. The copyright act, all that good stuff, that I can reuse it for purposes to be able to bring people together, help people understand and elevate the culture, all that ish. Okay, so welcome in, everybody. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 2, recap from your man, your friend, and family member, Braylon Lee. So we get into this thing, right, and it picks up right at the party. So Kandi and Courtney are still kind of going, right? For those of you who may not know, it started in the first episode that apparently Courtney learned that Kandi said to her friends that Courtney thought that she was going around saying that her and Kandi were friends when that was not the case at all. So Courtney tried to get up in Candy's face, and Kandi was like, okay, you need to quit bopping, because this bopping to me is violent. So I'm going to give you a response that you're not looking for. So I felt Kandi on that, because it's just like, I may ask about a person that I see in a photo, just to ask, like, who was that person? Not to be rude or anything else. But anyway, child, that's neither here nor there. So then, of course, y'all know Sheree and Martell, the relationship that nobody believes is true. They talk about that. And basically, Marietta said that, the other person that you're dating doesn't exist anymore. And so Martell said, well, that other girl got a short end of the stick. So Marlo earring dropped as she was talking about Kandi and Courtney. And so Marlo was like, why am I the only one behaving? I'm appalled. And then Marlo said, therapy works, seek it. I'm like, you know what? I am so tired of these people saying what they are doing, and they're saying it so that way they can have a point in the conversation. Child, don't talk about it, be about it. And she also was spending her Birkin money, because y'all know we don't know what she does, right? But apparently she's rich. So that's neither here nor there. Sonya changed into a different outfit for, Ross's 40th birthday party. It was Harlem Nights, because Ross, rather, loves Black history and he loves gambling. So combine the two. And so Sheree wants all the receipts, not just part of a story. But before that, they were going to talk about Kandi and Courtney, but Kandi didn't want to rehash it. So then we get to where we are, that they are trying to figure out the storyline here. Martell shows his DM to Kandi and Kenya. And so basically, Martell at this point is like, I don't care if I was trying to fuck you, 2 years ago. Why are you talking about it? It's over with. And so, like I said, the first review, that Kenya was basically telling Carlos which cast members of the Real Housewives of Huntsville remind her of cast members from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So basically just DMing, just to connect over the interview, and like, hey, thank you so much, and da-da-da. Even though she really didn't say nothing really glowing about Martell. I get it. Your name gets mentioned. You want to connect so that way your social capital can be good, da-da-da. So basically, they did a throwback clip, rather, of Bob, which was Sheree's ex-man, because Bob said, what would happen if I choked you? And Sheree didn't say nothing. Then I think Bob said, well, it looks like I didn't choke you hard enough. And Kenya said that was not funny. Which, I mean, you don't joke like that about a woman. And what you could do to her. That's just not cool. So on that note, I will agree with Kenya. We'll get to her a little bit later, okay? So, little ASMR for y'all. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here. And so, first of all, I just want to say thank you all so much. The first video is almost at 100 views. So proud of that. And I appreciate everybody who was there for the premiere. And I think I'm going to drop the rest of my videos as premieres, because it gives me a chance to talk to you guys, the audience, directly, and we can all have fun and kiki and, shade a little bit. But I so appreciate it. I think I will keep that style because the way I thought of that video was, okay, this is a virtual tour of what's happening in the world, and each part of the show is like a different destination on this virtual tour. So I love you, I value, I appreciate everyone who was there for the premiere of the first episode of Roa, and we're just gonna keep it going, keep it rising, and thank y'all for supporting me. I love you, you love me. In the words of Barney, we are one big happy family. All right, back into the virtual tour. So that destination of the party is done. So now we are talking about Drew Sidora. As you guys know, Drew Sidora was not in the first episode because she was in Chicago with her dad. Her dad is in a nursing home, has Alzheimer's, but we will get there. So Ralph and their daughter Anaya are choosing roses for Drew because Drew is on her way back from Chicago. I think Anaya's brothers were with Drew. So Drew came in the house. Everybody was happy to see her. Anaya did not give Drew a kiss. Apparently, Anaya doesn't give, kisses to her mom. And so Drew was a little bit upset by that. That's typical, just, okay, I love you, mommy, I'll talk to you. So she just wants to be a kid. But I also get like, hello, miss you, love you, value, all that good stuff. So like I said before, Drew's dad is in a wheelchair, has Alzheimer's. Ralph was asking, how did the trip go? And, Drew mom was there. So because Drew mom was there, her dad's spirit lifted up a little bit. It really picked up when Drew played her song, and her dad remembered Drew's voice, and Drew got very emotional because her dad was in I think he was in a singing group, or he had something to do with music, and so Drew wants to do music. She's always acted, but she wants to do music. And ever since she was 3 years old, she has been writing and recording her own songs. So there's a song called You Already Know, executive produced by Ralph, her husband, but now her ex-husband. Let me put some respect on that situation. Her ex-husband. And they seemed like they were in a really good place. That's what Drew said, that they're the happiest place they've been in a long time before everything happened, and child reportedly and allegedly and to the streets. They were racing each other on the highway to see who would file first, and Drew got there first before Ralph. So you have that going on. Of course, they did a Candy recap. Ralph and Drew did a Candy recap about what happened at the party. And Courtney and Drew are cousins, apparently. So then Drew tried to get some exercise. Drew cooked breakfast, pancakes and eggs. But Drew was going to give some eggs to, Ralph. He didn't want any. So Drew and Ralph are in the studio. I think the producer may be connected to Candy, I don't know, but there is a producer in the studio, and so they're talking about Drew Sidora's EP, right? An EP is basically, somebody's mixtape essentially, and trying to get their voice out there and see what hits and what doesn't hit. So they were trying to find the direction of her voice, Drew's voice, and the song You Already Know was inspired by their marriage, and the producer asked, what's y'all dynamic like working together? And Drew said that the studio is their happy place. Now, here's the thing, right? Being married together and working together are two completely different things, right? Because the way you love on each other is probably different than the way you do business together. The only couple I can think is of recent memory, because we all know about Berry Gordy and Diana Ross, that situation. We also know about Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson and, Diana Ross. And the way that Smokey talked about was like, yeah, it happened. And, shout out to Make It Make Sense. His intros always get me laughing. And when Smokey does his dance in that red outfit, I'm like, really, Smokey, really, we this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Okay, sir. But you know what? I'm not mad. I got to that age, it was still looking good, still able to move and shake and throw down a little something. Then I would be doing that too. But anyway, child. With all that being said, the latest couple that I thought about was Tamar and Vince, right? Tamar Braxton and Vincent Herbert. And so, Vincent Herbert was Tamar's manager, and it got heavy. It got heavy because, for one, they were always Velcro. And so because there was no separation of business and, because there was no separation of personal and professional, they could never have a break. And so it got to the point where Tamar had different needs. Vince had different needs. Vince lost a lot of weight because he wanted to become healthier, because he was having heart attacks, flying, because, Vince, I think what I'm about to say is not offensive here, he was a big boy. Respectfully, he was a big fella. And so he, did what he needed to do to get down his way so he could be around longer. And so it was just two worlds just separating. It was one world of Tamar and Vince separating over time into two different worlds. And so, Tamar said the needs that I have at 20 are not the same needs that I have at 40. And so I say all that to say this: if the studio is your only place where you can be happy, you don't have a happy home. I'm sorry. Like, if I have a wifey, my happy place is anywhere she is. If we're at Disney World, that's my happy place. If we're in the Bahamas, that's my happy place. If we're in Dubai in a hot tub, making love to each other, watching the sunset, that's my happy place. Super Soaker Fights where I whip her behind in it, that's my happy place. Playing Mario Kart, that's my happy place. Going to the state fair, eating a turkey leg, and a funnel cake for dessert after, that's my happy place. So any place where me and my wifey are together, that's my happy place. So that kind of worried me a little bit, that the only happy place that you guys have is the studio. But also, too, to that point, the first day that they had, Drew said that she sang and Ralph played the piano. So you do have that connection. So I thought that was a cute moment. And, it seemed like they have good energy. Just seemed like maybe they weren't really good people for each other. So, and that happens a lot. You have two good individuals, but that does not mean that they are good people together. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, that is it for that. Marlo only appeared in the second part of the party, and in this episode, it was her and her nephew choosing shoes. And Marlo was asking, which one do you think I should choose? And the nephew chose Python shoes, and Marlo said, those are the shoes I wanted to get. So like I said, I'm proud of Marlo. She is messy, she is shady, she is a little, extra, but I'm proud of her for trying to be a Muntie, which is a mom and an auntie. So that is that. Okay. So we get to Sonya now, right? We get to Sonya. Sonya and Candy, get lunch together. And, Candy messaged the group about wanting to go to Disney World. I wish I was a part of that text group, because trust me, I would gladly take it, especially if Candy's paying. Yes, Candy, please pay. We stay at the Contemporary Resort. We stay at Airbnb. What are we doing? Are we eating on site? Are we going around Orlando eating? Like, what we doing? We park hopping. We going to Typhoon Lagoon. We going to Blizzard Beach. What we doing? So they go on the Disney trip. It was a wonderful time. And, Kenya said that I've really got to know Sonya outside the group. And that, Candy really has a good time with her, and the kids get along, and the husbands get along. So it's really a sisterhood, which is a wonderful thing, right? Because when you look at these, reality shows, sometimes you really do wonder, is there anything real in this thing called a reality show? Because most of the time, what these reality shows try to do, if it's an ensemble cast, you try to find commonalities and similarities with enough differences that it could last for a good season. And they've been on 15 seasons, so they know the dynamic is black excellence, humanity that can be broken humanity, but that doesn't mean that they have to rebuild themselves, and the issues and the daily things that we all go through, right? And the way Andy Cohen thought of it was like the soap operas. There were these huge storylines, and of course, everybody knows Dynasty and Diane Carroll, slapping, slapping that person out. And that scene is so big that in Empire, where Taraji P. Henson and Grace Byers now, Grace Byers, because she did get married to her husband through Empire. They had that scene on Empire where they were both fighting on the pool table. That was inspired by Dynasty. So, with all that being said, I think that situation there, with Housewives and how it's became such a cultural phenomenon is because of the relatability and the escapism it has, but also too, people are looking for more integrity in their reality. So, all that being said, Sonya asked how is Candy doing, and Candy's like, it was supposed to be a day relaxing, but I got contracts to read over. I got BravoCon this weekend, and Sonya's going to BravoCon. Those of you who don't know what BravoCon is, it is like Comic-Con, but it's for Bravo. So all the housewives, right? All the housewives, or majority of the housewives, they come, and it's the biggest meet and greet. They have live panels. Andy has a big Watch What Happens Live. They have a legendary panel. You can get products from your favorite housewives, meet and greets. Of course, Summer House, Vanderpump Rules. By the way, Vanderpump Rules, child. I saw the preview for the reunion. Child, tell me why that reunion has more juice than Potomac right now. Please tell me why. And all these people are white people. I think there might be some lamb people in there. But still, just you're cheating on your wife with her best friend or something to that degree. And, Tom is upset and, saying, come in my face. And it's just like, and when I say come in my face, I mean like beat up his face, y'all, okay? Child. But anyway, either way, shout out to that reunion. That should be coming up relatively soon, kind of towards the end of this month. But anyway, so, Todd, back to the virtual tour world with Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15 episode 2, back into this virtual tour of Sonya, where she is, right? So Candy says that Todd wants to be her own person because Todd feels that he puts everything into Candy, but Candy's not putting anything into him. And Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva, shout out to her, I love her. But she has said that it's Todd's job to stay in the back seat. And Perry on Sherelle's World said, well, he knew what he signed up for, to be her assistant. And I think that their marriage is probably way more than boss and assistant. I mean, at that point, you should just hire an assistant. But I do believe that men have the right to be their own individuals. And so, we will get to that a little bit later when we get to that destination of Candy in this virtual tour, because I want to talk about something that I feel is a conversation that needs to be had. It's not going to be a long conversation, but it will be a conversation nonetheless. So then Sonya says that, she wants her family to use the 2-year mark that they made. So Ross and Sonya made a commitment that their family will stay with them for 1 to 2 years. The husband wants them out so they can be on their own, to use Patrick and Thais from 90 Day Fiance from the first recap video that I did, that they want to have the room to be able to, try for baby number 2. And, to have more peace and to have more freedom and, more flexibility for what they want to do in their life. So I feel that. I mean, listen, I will try my best to be there for people, but at the end of the day, we have to live our own lives. You know what I mean? My mom, she said something to me that I'll never forget. She said, before me and your dad got married, we asked everybody, she said, sorry y'all, it's a lot going on in my brain, but she said, they asked everybody who has a home and who doesn't, and she made sure everybody had a home before they got married. I thought that was very smart advice. And 9 people in one house, child, there ain't no room for jumping, flying, riding, sucking, flipping, riding, nothing going on, okay? Or even just being able to lay in your bed to just know there's no one else in your home but the people that you want in your home, okay? So, so then Sonya and Candy get to the situation or the event that occurred at Ross's for your birthday party with Candy and Courtney. And so Courtney, had a bobblehead graphic because Candy was like, Courtney was being a bobblehead, and then these producers are petty. So they do a bobblehead graphic with, Courtney, bobbing her head and her mouth up and down like, oh my God, y'all are shady, auntie. So, a question was asked from Candy that, when Courtney said that Candy was ghetto, what did you do? What did you say? How did you move? And so, Sonya didn't feel like, Sonya didn't feel like Courtney said that Candy was ghetto. And listen, at the end of the day, if someone is calling my friend ghetto and I know that they're not, I'm at least going to say, okay, unless you really know them, you shouldn't say anything, because that was a moment. A moment doesn't define who a person is. And I think that's what Candy was wanting. Sonya was just saying that her actions were ghetto. Then in that case, I think Courtney should have been more clear that her actions were ghetto, not that Candy was ghetto. And then Sonya and Ross are trying for baby number 2, but Ross has his own business, and because of that business, they can't make any practice happen. So, listen, at the end of the day, respectfully, put your wife on the payroll, make sure she has enough responsibilities, and then y'all just have fun together at your job. Like, that's what I would do. Hang on, y'all. Are still cool. Just message somebody on IG, y'all. But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it with Sonya, and that's pretty much it with Sonya. Just a lunch with Candy talking about just life in general. Okay. So now we get to Candy, child. Candy. So Candy is going to Blaze with Todd, to see what they can do to Blaze. And so Todd is saying that they made some new updates, on menu items and things like that. And so, Todd was asking Candy, are you ready for the new Mexican restaurant? And Candy was like, no, I'm not. And so, Candy was asking Todd, why are you building so many restaurants? And so, Todd was saying that I'm making more money than I've ever made. So I would like to, make all these restaurants, claim all the money from these restaurants and build out my menu empire, which, it's not bad, because it does take money to make money. Or as Karen Huger would say, you have to make millions in order to owe millions. Stormy Steele is learning about that right now through Love and Marriage Huntsville, but that's neither here nor there. So, or in the words of Woody Woodpecker. So with all that being said, right? So, Candy is just saying that, all of your dreams and everything else, don't you feel like you're a little too busy? And so, it gets into that, matter that I talked about of, at the end of the day, someone should have the right to be their own person. But also, too, you can't do so much that you don't have a soul for yourself. And I think that that's the thing that they are trying to find right now, Candy and Todd, is that balance of we're hustling to leave something, but in hustling in terms of leaving something, we are also depleting ourselves. You know what I mean? Because I think, on Sherelle's World, someone said that Riley said that Candy wasn't a good mom, and we saw Ace in the first episode say, "Mommy, can you come home?" So there is a bit of a disconnect. Now, I'm not going to say that Candy is not a good mom or a bad mom. Moms do the best that they can, just like dads do. And I would like to see anybody try to take on Candy's schedule and still have a soul for themselves, so everybody can just shut the hell up with that. And that's not just her, but any person on any show. Like, go do what they do and then come back and let's talk. But since you won't be able to do it, I'm going to need you to shut the hell up, honestly. So with all that being said, the operating manager comes in, they hang out, they talk. And then the cousin comes in, Candy's cousin comes in, rather. It's in a, arm strap, you know what I mean? Because his arm is healing up. So then this producer comes out the blue. White producer, by the way, white producer. So now I don't know if this is their main producer, because on every reality show they do have their own producer, right? Or producing team. But either way, this white producer comes out and says, "Are we not going to talk about the elephant in the room?" And so, Candy is like, "We cannot talk about that because it's a legal matter." And Ty was like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about that because there's more than meets the eye. There's details and legalities, and just it's a space that we don't need to be in right now." And so what Candy said about it was that basically somebody came late and intoxicated and, got into it with the cousin, Candy's cousin rather, and they went outside, and that's how that happened. And so, there's an increase in violence in Atlanta right now. And, the whole cast is basically saying that, there is a bit of violence going up in Atlanta, but they don't want it at Candy's restaurant. So, like I said, at the end of the day, you can't control other people. All you can do is what you can control. But I genuinely do not think that Candy and Todd would want violence at their restaurant. Like, that's a bit of a stretch, y'all. And, at the end of the day, things happen, right? There's probably events and circumstances and tribulations that we all have gone through that we have never thought could happen. So, really to be that extra doesn't make any sense. That's just piling on to pile on. I think that's just ridiculous. So prayers out to Atlanta, prayers out to the world, really, because the world, I feel like the world is rising up to its greatness and falling to its miserable calamity at the same time. And then in the middle is like, okay, there's a bit of a soul here, but we're trying to cope, but we're actually freaking out. So that's kind of the way I feel. Greatness is up, calamity is down, and then in the middle, we're trying to cope, but we're on the fringes of losing it. So that's just my take, but that doesn't mean that there are not good people in the world, okay? Okay, so we get to Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore, okay. I have said this before, I will say it again. Kenya Moore is a beautiful woman. She will never be a Jill Scott in the past, present, or afterlife, but that doesn't mean she's not a human being, right? And so we get to see her and her daughter Brooklyn. They're running through this place, and they're practicing tennis with this woman named Alan. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Queen, but her husband is in the NFL. And so, Kenya and her best friend are talking about, moving forward and everything in between, and that, her marriage is something that they envy. And listen, I think that at the end of the day, it's one thing to envy something, but it's another thing to attack other people, and we will get into that a little bit later. But I do feel like Kenya Moore deserves love. I do. I think that, you cannot be around that long, living, as Kenya Moore, and you don't have success. She was Miss America, or Miss USA. They get into a little heated fellowship, but you get the wrong title, but still it's within the same family. But anyway, Miss USA, you got your own hair care line, Kenya Moore Hair Care. Support that black-owned business. And that's the thing too. We all love black-owned business. We just want black-owned business to be responsible. So Stormy could learn a little something from Kenya Moore about business, but that's neither here nor there. So, as we are talking about that, I thought about this, with Mark, it just seemed like it was kind of a disconnect, for some odd reason, because I've seen YouTubers go over the history of Kenya Moore and Mark, and it seemed like in the beginning, it really was a happy relationship. But of course, he has a restaurant in New York, she's in Atlanta, so there was some separation from distance. And then of course, he didn't want to film on camera, which, honestly, tell you the truth, I kind of feel Mark on that. Like, if my wife was a part of a reality show, listen, that's your thing. I don't want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? But if you need me to support you, then I will support you. But that doesn't mean I'm going to come on camera every time. But also, too, the more privacy you have, the more space you have to work things out. So that's kind of how I feel about Mark. And, based on what I've seen, about the divorce and everything else, and how, he's trying to take more manner and things like that, I'm just like, okay, you are being a little bit aggressive, because she is trying to move on. And at the end of the day, do you really want to hold on to something that's not yours anyway? Because you basically are holding yourself back from somebody new in your life, right? So I did feel Kenya Moore on that. Like I said, she will never be a Jill Scott in the past, present, or afterlife. But that doesn't mean she's not a human being. I genuinely do believe that having her daughter Brooklyn is probably one of the greatest highlights of her life. And I think, being still with that probably gives her a lot of purpose. You know what I mean? Because when you have things to attend to, and that make you better, you will focus energy on that. When you have nothing to do, you will do anything for attention. So that's my take on Kenya Moore and what happened with her. So, woo, y'all, we are almost there. We're almost there to a full hour. By the way, one other thing. Listen, I am not here to judge anybody, but like I said, everything on this channel is in my opinion and is alleged, and it's for entertainment purposes only. Can we talk? That blonde wig and that white was not rocking with me. Was that just me? Or was that anybody else? Like, no disrespect, and Kenya Moore is a beautiful woman, right? She is. But just, it's okay. You don't have to dress up for every shot. And I feel that with the Housewives franchise, because they, have built up the status for being known for something, that they have to be that all the time. Child, it's a confessional. I know you are at your home, or maybe y'all rent out a space to do the confessionals, because there are some people that they do not want people in their home. They want privacy. That doesn't mean they don't want to do the job, but they just want their privacy. So either way, I feel like, as long as you're in a nice, cute top, some nice, leggings, or the leggings that give you a little more of a behind, or in the words of Phaedra Parks, a donkey booty, then it's cool. You know what I mean? I think people after 15 years, a decade and 5 years, they know who you are. They know that sometimes you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to be all dressed up. Listen, I get it's because of aesthetics, but also, too, it's okay to just chill. You can go settle down. You don't have to do the most. in order to be seen around. Okay, so we got all that. Okay, good, good, goody, good, 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 good. So now we get to Cherie. Okay, we get to Cherie. She is a glam mom. Not a grandma, but a grandma. So it's so interesting because, grandmas have changed from, well, grandbaby, it's so good to see you, to be like, girl, I'm going to spend time with this kid. I love him. I love her. I love y'all. But guess what? Grandma got somewhere to be because grandma's going to get down tonight. And I don't just mean dancing. I mean, I may be getting down, drinking something down my throat or getting down somebody's face. Now, of course, I hope no grandma is that bold to say that, but, in the words of many black people, you're grown and so am I. So we get to another scene with Sonya. So Sonya and Cherie are having dinner together, and they are talking about, just how busy they are, all that stuff, general life stuff. And, we get to the point where they recap the party and they talk about, black men and these labels that, black men are aggressive, they're this and they're that. Because last season, Ross stood up for Sonya and he got called aggressive. And now Martell, even though Martell is a garden tool, and we all know this, we all know that the relationship with, Cherie is not real. He was trying to defend himself too, right? So they talking about that. And so, Cherie is just like, she just wants Kenya to take up for her actions. And, I agree with that. I mean, listen, Kenya Moore really doesn't have any room to talk, right? I mean, you have Walter, paying for Walter. You have, her calling, a woman, those of you who don't know, Cynthia Bailey had a modeling agency, and so they were trying to find the Jet Beauty of the Week or some type of thing with Jet Magazine. And so she said to a young lady, "Why are you here?" And then she said to another person, "Why do I see your coochie crack?" And you have that, but then you were talking with Apollo, a married man. You really don't have any room to talk. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't know you personally. And guess what? I don't have to know you either, but that also doesn't mean I don't have to be mean to you. But also, we got to call a spade, right? And so it's like, at the end of the day, people have given you labels, but yet you're still alive, yet you're still moving, yet you're still thriving. So at the end of the day, you want to stand up for yourself because, a moment should not define Kenya more than you should give that same grace, to whoever, you know what I mean? And it's already hard enough for black men to be able to even be a black man, because we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to handle everything, and we're not supposed to do this and do that and be put in a box. And the crazy thing to me is black women get put in a box and black women get put in a box rather, and black men get put in a box. But yet we're allowing that behavior? Like, there's some men that's like, oh, black women should be this, and then black women are saying all black men are this and that. I'm like, yo, we are not a monolith. There are some good black men. There are some good black women. Some of y'all just don't give time, energy, or commitment to allowing good into your life, and maybe because there's bad in you. How about that for a thought? Maybe it's not the people that are bad. Maybe it's you. Because whatever you give out into the world, it comes back to you. It's a book called The Secret. It's the law of attraction. You should read it sometime and maybe start attracting what you want by giving what you want to give out into the world, and that will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, men will give into your bosom to use a Christian scripture or a Bible scripture or a spirituality scripture. But anyway, child. So, all right, with all that being said, child, we get to, at this point of the show or the program, or, whatever you want to say, we get to the point where She by Sheree is on the show, and she's at this space called Ecom Spaces, and so it is her warehouse, and on the iPad or the tablet, it says that She by Sheree has 273 orders to ship out. So first of all, congratulations. Congratulations. 273 orders is a lot of orders. However, Sheree is like, why is this wrinkled? So she's asking, does that cost? And the young lady said, of course it costs. And I'm like, you know what? What? I love the honesty. I really, really do. So you have that situation going on. Then you have Kenya Moore coming through to the warehouse. And so she was asking, are you doing this by yourself or do you have a team? And Sheree was like, no, I'm doing this by myself. And Kenya was like, oh, that's really cute. And so as Kenya Moore was looking at, the merchandise, she was looking at the She by Sheree, and, Kenya Moore said that, oh, that looks like a Dallas Cowboy star. And so they get into this conversation about Kenya Moore, being in LA filming this DirecTV commercial. For those of you who haven't seen the commercial, it's where, they flipping back and forth between one thing and another, and then the worlds collide. So basically, the commercial is football housewives. And so the housewives are in football, or in the world of football. So it's Teresa Giudice and Kenya Moore and some other people. And so she was like, I went out to LA and filmed with the Dallas Cowboys. And she saw Dak Prescott, the quarterback, and she was like, that's a handsome man. Of course, anyone that's handsome is obviously the top tier quality choice. It doesn't matter, who they are, how they carry themselves, how they move. Just as long as they look good to you, King. That's a wonderful standard list and requirement list for yourself. How is it working out for you, though? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So basically... basically, right? So yeah, basically that happened and all that stuff, y'all. I'm out. My rambling comes greatness. Give me time. As you get to know me through my videos, I do tangents here and there, but it leads to our final stop. So just give me time. So basically, Sheree and Kenya start to talk about what happened at the party, and so Sheree did not like what happened with Martell. She did not like what happened with Martell at all. And so basically, Sheree felt that people were ambushing Martell. Like, he came, just to support Ross and support Sheree. And it was his first time meeting everybody. And I will say this. If somebody's coming at me with something that I did like 2 years ago and you're talking about it and it wasn't really anything, yeah, I'm going to feel offended some type of way too, because I'm coming in with good energy. I'm coming in with a good mindset. I'm coming in with a good frame of reference of wanting to be good with everybody, because that should be a principle. Good people should be good to good people. That's it. So Kenya says that she does not want to know him and doesn't care to know him. And so Sheree was like, I think he's a Capricorn. It's like, oh, that's weird. I usually get along with Capricorns. And I'm like, can we please get over the zodiac-ish, okay? Please, because at the end of the day, D-A-Y, hashtag day, there's good and bad in every zodiac. I'm a Leo, and people say Leos are bad. I think we're very nice people until you cross us. But that's also in every zodiac. And I'm just like, are we really using zodiacs as the standard bearer of how we find our person or relationship? Because at the end of the day, okay, that person may be a Taurus, but they also rather could be good to you. And I think sometimes we will throw someone away over one thing. And guess what? You ain't put together either. Because if you were, you would have somebody. Oh, we don't want to talk about that, do we? Like I said before, it's interesting, child. Relationship dynamics are interesting. So I have a person that, she likes to sing the TLC Scrub song. And it's like, okay, TLC was singing about men being scrubs, but women can be scrubs too. And so, with that being said, Martell showed the DM to Cherie, and Cherie said that when Martell and her first met, Martell showed all the DMs, and so I'm like, okay, I would understand why I would understand why Cherie would be upset, because it's like, okay, we already handled this, and you're bringing this just to be extra, to have a storyline, which Kenya has been accused of not having anything productive in terms of a storyline in years. So it kind of does seem like you're just trying to throw your best friend under the bus. And so Kenya was like, okay, he has no right to be disrespectful to my face. And so Kenya felt that she was disrespected when he said, check her DMs, because I bet you she answers all of them. Now Kenya felt that she was offended because at the end of the day, she felt that Martell was trying to call her a hoe or a garden tool. Now listen, to each their own, child. Like Sheree said, somebody were to say that to me, I would say you wish. And that's kind of how I felt about it. He didn't even say nothing, but I also do get voice inflection and dialect of, what's good? What's good? You see how those change from what's good, like, hey, what's good? Everything okay? To what's good? Try me if you want to. So I totally get where Kenya is coming from. However, when you are, cussing a man out and, saying once a cheater, always a cheater, the same thing that you're going to do, the same thing that you did to your ex-wife, you're going to do to her, you piece of ish. Okay, guess what? You don't think he's not going to say nothing? And I'm not excusing Martell, because Martell is a waste of a life. His mama's launch pad was broken. His dad, Rocky, was on a recall. He was the launch failure that came out. That's not no fault of his parents. That's the fault of Martell. But still, though, like, you're bringing something that has already been talked about and took care of. And, Martell and Cherie has moved on. That's why you hear that you don't tell your family and friends everything. Because at the end of the day, you've moved on. But the next time you see your family and friends, like, they still have that stank attitude towards them, even though you guys have already moved on from it. Okay, so, Kenya's like bros before hoes. And so, Kenya, I can't with Kenya. Kenya says, me and you are bros in this case, and he's the hoe. And I'm just like, wow, okay. If two guys were to say we're bros and Kenya Moore is the hoe, she would be having a whole fit. But I guess you could just do what you want to because you're on TV, you have the platform, and you've built up that social capital to just be disrespectful, blasphemous, and not take any responsibility for what you do, right? And Sheree said that both of them were heated. And I agree, it was a heated situation between both of them, right? That, at the end of the day, if somebody, and I think context matters. Let's just say if I was a part of a cast, right? And, there was a young lady that, mentioned my name in some capacity. If it was in a good nature, I say, oh, hey, thank you so much for, mentioning me. I'm a big fan of yours. Hope all is well. Love to chat sometime. If that's all it was, that's all it was. It didn't need to be anything else. You know what I mean? So then Sheree asked, what is the deal with Kenya Moore, going after these black men, calling Ross aggressive for defending Sonya, calling Martell aggressive because he is defending Sheree. And then Sheree says the quiet part out loud. Are black men public enemy number one because you don't have one? Okay. So, when she said that, I'm like, okay, first of all, wow. But also, did she lie? Did she lie? Because, shout out to Justin Diego of Bingeworthy, who I absolutely love. Oh my God, I can't wait till he gets to 1 million subscribers, because he is awesome with that bobblehead. And I will see you, black women who support other black women the next time. So... I absolutely love Justin Diego. He is awesome. Hopefully he goes live sometime, so I can come on and talk with his bobblehead, or his emoji avatar head. But he is amazing. So he did a whole video on Kenya Moore and just the history of her, right? And not to mention, there was a video too, I think it was from Justin Diego or someone, that said that, this is not a moment, see you later, bye, was not an actual moment. She was just doing that to be able to keep her job. So like, Kenya, as I like to say, something in the Kool-Aid ain't sweet about your history, and yet you still have a shot to rise up for another day. So let's just be cool with everybody, okay? Let's just be cool. So Kenya said that that Martell was wrong for getting in her face, and Sheree was like, "You need to be responsible too because you were out the way too." And so Sheree was like, "What can we do? Because I think you really would like him." And Kenya said, "Well, we're going to just have to agree to disagree." So that is basically Season 15, Episode 2 recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and then we get to the preview. Ralph and Drew go rock climbing. Candy and her clique has words about BravoCon because Mama Joyce was on a BravoCon panel and said, I would rather have Todd, I respect any man dating Candy rather than Todd, who actually has an actual job. And I'm just like, okay, there's some history there that I don't know about, y'all, but basically, when Todd came around and stuff, Mama Joyce said that he was an opportunist and everything else. And I'm like, listen, no relationship is going to be perfect, but listen, Mama Joyce, you have a past, he has a past, we all have a past. Like, really? There are probably times where you didn't have a job either. I'm not trying to come for Candy's mom. So before anybody tries to be messy, extra, or, basically talks about me from a broken loft that they can't even pay for because they are not responsible for their life, their mental capacity, and also carrying themselves out as a decent human being. Listen, just because you come for somebody and give your take doesn't mean that you think they're a bad person, but it's okay to have a conversation and say what's on your mind, but respectfully. I think that Todd, from what I've seen, he's a decent dude. He takes care of his kids, takes care of his wife, and he's just trying to find his own identity. And y'all always say, well, black men need to do this rather. Black men need to do that. They need to be more. Well, guess what? Some of y'all really say y'all want black men. And some of y'all elders, the grandmas, aunties, everybody in between, nieces, cousins, and everybody, y'all say y'all want respectful, articulate, mindset worthy young black men and black women, but then y'all attack them. So are you really about black people, or are you just about being right because you want to be right? I need y'all to go to therapy, in the words of Marlo, and seek it. Okay, so then Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac is on tour with her tour Deep Space and asked Drew Sidor to sing a song with her. Literally, Candace calls Drew and Ralph is there, and Candace asked that question, which I thought that was really nice. That was a sisterhood moment. And let me tell you something, before Potomac is over, Candace is going to have the biggest career ever, because let me tell you something, ain't nobody listen to Reasonably Shady. Now, yes, they did get to 1 million downloads. Congratulations. They're in litigation with Slim Shady, and I hope to God Eminem takes them to the cleaners. I really, really do, because Roberto needs to get an actual job, and Lizelle needs to be able to tell the truth. So Eminem, please reset them so we can reset Potomac and actually have another good show. Okay, so then Candy and Courtney finally hash things out. Still child over the first episode. And so apparently Candy made a post saying that, Courtney was ghetto or something happened, and then Candy said, the next week it was ghetto because I did that, or something to that degree. I'm paraphrasing, don't quote me though. And then at the end, I think at Drew Sidor's performance with Candace, or maybe this was a separate thing, Marlo is just saying her blood nephew is dead. Her blood nephew is dead. My nephew is dead. And then that's where it cuts off. Child, what in the world is this show? Now, like I said, this is my first time ever watching the show in 15 years, a decade and a half, okay? So this is all new to me, but I hope that what I try to do is bring soda commentary, bring consideration and care, because I've come to recognize there's not a lot of males that get on these panels on YouTube, but more than that, I sense that there is a chemical X, lighter fluid, a little extra sauce that's missing on YouTube of a perspective that understands the media game, that understands the cultural game, that understands social capital. And social capital, if you guys don't know about it, from Damon John's book, The Power of Broke, social capital is sharing an opportunity, mentioning your friend's name or mentioning your name to other people that could, get you somewhere. Maybe it's a free program that's, Chat GPT, or, a website that can do free logos, or, maybe it's a giveaway, or maybe it's a conference that you get a discount for. Being able to put yourself in a light where you can share the best of yourself so you can gain financial capital, I realize that space is not on YouTube. And so hopefully I will be able to do something good in that space. So I love you, I value, I appreciate you all so much. I really, really do. So as we end here, sorry, y'all. So, as I was saying, as we get to the end here of this video, I think I was at 56 minutes, so 56, 57, 58, 59, 1. So, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes here. So, as we get to the end of this video, I just want you to know that I love you, I value, I embrace you. Keep your head up. And how far you've come. Keep your head down, your purpose, and always look forward to the blessings in front of you, and let those curses behind you go. Seriously. I'm on greatday.com. It says a fellow doesn't last long on what he's done. He's got to keep delivering as long. He has to keep going. He's got to keep on delivering as he goes along. And so with that, I'm going to read the Daily Motivational Thought from Ralph Morrison for Saturday, May 20th, 2023, a beautiful day. Make it a beautiful day by deciding it will be. Make it a beautiful day by embracing what is and giving your best to it. A beautiful day does not require any particular circumstances. Each day is what you make of it. And you can make it a beautiful day out of any day you choose. A beautiful day depends on you, a beautiful day depends on you, not on what is provided to you. I'm going to read that one more time. A beautiful day depends on you, not on what is provided to you. Today has plenty of potential for beauty, even though it is not perfect. A beautiful day is more than you can imagine beforehand that it will be. A beautiful day largely comes from all you allow and enable it to be as it unfolds. You don't have to try so hard to live a beautiful day. You don't have to be shackled by the fear of what might or might not happen. Just be beautiful in your own way and live yourself a beautiful day. Ralph Morrison. So what I sense from that is that at the end of the day, the words of Hannah Montana, life is what you make it, so let's make it right. I make it right. Life's what you make it, so come on, everybody now. To use another song, life like a road you travel on. It's one day here and the next day go. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're there. Sometimes you throw you back into the wind. The world outside, every darkened door. The blues won't haunt you anymore. Way out there in love is so. You're riding the distance to show. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There ain't much time left today. Hey, 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 life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. And to end it, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. I know that was horrible. Was that extra? Yes, it was. Did I need to do it? No, I did not. But did you come to my YouTube channel? Yes, the hell you did. And I love you. I value. I appreciate you for it. So always remember, y'all, at the end of the day, we all are messed up, but that doesn't mean we're not trying to rise up. Okay, if somebody makes a mistake, that's not who they are. Somebody's trying to do right, allow the grace for them to do right, because child, you are going to do something wrong later on down the line. You're going to need some grace too. I'm telling you, it is difficult being 28, having this much of an old soul, but I can clearly tell it is needed in the world. So I'm going to keep doing what I am doing. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, these past couple of weeks on YouTube have been crazy. And, I just move in silence. I don't tell all my moves, but that doesn't mean I'm moving. That does not mean, rather, I'm not moving. And I just want you to know that at the end of the day, if you are worried about what people are going to say, how people are going to look at you, how people will give you the time of day, don't worry about it. I promise you, do not worry about it. Because at the end of the day, whoever is judging you, guess what? They're also judging them. They're also judging them low key. So I just want you to know that you're loved on, that you are more than what people can say about you. And always remember, as long as you are above the ground to change the ground, you're not done yet. You are not done yet in your journey, in your book of life. And there's a dash in the middle of your life. That beginning and that end in the middle is that dash. That's everything in between. Appreciate the fact that you're able to add to the dash. Because one day when you're not able to add to the dash, that's when you no longer have a chance to win. So with that being said, know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special, because you are always born a blessing. And trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be, doing what you've been chosen to do. Why it's one thing to call yourself, it's another to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully by spending time together, we will be amazing together. I always remember what you're doing, radio, television, YouTube, live your best life, or you're just trying to be still for your mental health, and you're not responding because you know that your response is like currency, and you don't have time to spend currency that does not make a return on your investment. Make sure the replay is not just worth for you to watch it, not just worth for you to listen to it, but for you to want to experience it again. I love you. I value, I embrace you. Keep staying tuned to my channel. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Tell other people we are over here talking. And you have a voice in the conversation. I have a voice in your conversation. And we can all have a conversation to learn, to grow, and to evolve to be better people. See you soon. Bye. Love ya. See ya. Peace.